Alright, so this is going to be the video for our week 11 activity. We're going to be using this quadratic formula right here, or the quadratic formula right here, to solve every problem that we run into. So just a kind of a warning, I'm not going to simplify all of these to their answers. It's more of I'm going to give you the basic plugging in of the values so you know what I'm plugging in and get that pattern down. I highly recommend give the quadratic formula. You're not going to have a cheat sheet, I think, on your test of formulas. This is something you'll have to remember. The quadratic formula is something that you will be using as like a last resort. Usually you want to try to do grouping or any other kind of factoring before quadratic formula because it takes a while, which is why I can't simplify all of these to their answers. I will give the answers and guide you to where you need to be, but it's just, there's no way I can put this all in a 10-minute video of me going through each one. If you do need me to show you and show you some practices of the quadratic formula, please come to my office hours or send me an email. But yeah, I'm going to kind of just show you what you're going to be plugging in so you kind of make sure you don't get your A, B's, and C's swapped, because that happens. So we can just start with our first one here. So what's our A, what's our B, what's our C? We have our 1 as our A, we have our B as -5, and our C is -14. So let's plug that in. We have our opposite of B, right? That's our plug in here. So the opposite of -5 is just +5. So we should have a +5, plus or minus. We have our square root of our b squared, which we found out is -5 squared. Or we can just put that as 25. Right, because -5 times -5 is +25. We have a 25 minus a 4 times our A, which is 1, and our C, which is -14. All over our 2 times A, which is just our 1. So I'm going to kind of I'll simplify this one just so you can see how it's supposed to go to. But yeah, that is kind of what I'm going to be doing. I'll just leave it there, but for this one, I'll show you how to simplify it down. So we're just going to focus on our square root over here, right? So this is going to go to 5 plus or minus. We have a square root. 25 is going to stay the same. Let's simplify our -4, or our -4 times -14. So that will be a 56. So we have 25. And this is going to be an adding because basically what we did here is that -4. You're adding a -4 there. So we're going to add these two together, which is going to get us a 81. So I'm going to kind of keep erasing here. But basically this is where you kind of want to focus on your square root first before simplifying anything else. And this is just 2. And then we can simplify this further. I'm so sorry, there's just not a lot of space on this worksheet. But it's going to be 5 plus or minus. And then the square root of 81 is 9 over 2. So basically what you would do is find out the two answers. Do 5 plus 9 and then do our 5 -9 or -9. And through there, you're going to get a number 7 as your x. So that would mean we move to this next one. So here, I'm just going to show you, we got to get it to 0, right? So we need 2x squared plus 2x. We're going to subtract 12 to get to this thing. This is a key thing here. Before you can do any factoring of any kind, you need to get it to 0. So from there, let's just plug in what we would have, right? It would be our A, our B, and our C, right? So opposite of B, which is just -2, plus or minus, the square root, we have our B squared, which is just 2 squared, minus 4 times, we have our A and our C, right? Our A is 2, our C is -12. It's all over 2 times our A, which is just 2 again. And right there is what you're just going to plug in and simplify, very similar to the one above. Through there, you're going to get one of your answers is going to be -3. So we can move on to our next quadratic solving. Again, I'm just going to show you what would be set up. So we have our opposite of -3, or A, B, and C. We need that reminder there. Then we have our -3 squared minus 4 times 2 and our -5, all under our square root. And then we're going to have that over 2 times our A, which just does 2. And then through there, you will find out that one of your answers for x could be our 5/2. Then we move to our next one. Again, we need to get this 2 equal 0. So how do we do that? Well, we can subtract 4 from both sides, and that gives us a positive 3 equals 0. So then up here, I'm going to kind of show you the layout here. It's going to be the opposite of our b, which is going to be just -8, right? Because the opposite of +8 is -8. We're going to add or subtract our square root, which is our 8 squared minus the 4 times our a and our c, which is 4 and 7, all over 2 times 4. Then from there, you would have the answer when you simplify it to here. Kind of key thing here is I just want to keep in mind is get it to 0. You need to have your equation or your quadratic 2 equals 0. So if it has to equal 5, we need to get rid of that 5, right? So we're going to have a -20 equals 0. So again, up here, I'm going to just show you the layout here. Opposite of -3 is make sure if you have a negative, keep it in the parentheses until you start simplifying. Then from there, we have our -3 squared, which is our b squared, right? Then 4, a and c are 2, and we have a -20 now. All over our 2 times a, which is just a 2 again. All right, through there again, you'll get the answer of here, up here. Again, this is not to 0, right? So let's get that x out of here. We're going to subtract x from both sides, and then we should get equaling 0. From there, we have our x, and then our a, our b, and our c. So our b is -1, which is we're going to make sure the opposite of -1, plus or minus. Under the square root, we have a -1 squared minus 4 times our a and our c, which is 2 and -36, all over 2 times our a, which is just another 2 again. Then from there, we have our answer of 9/2.